Welcome. Thank you so very much for tuning into my channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sadie. If this is your first time here, welcome, and if it's not, welcome back. I do want to say thank you to all my subscribers and the people that have been showing me support. Thank you so very much. It means the world. Thank you. Today, I'd like to talk about family court, something that I would say somewhat familiar with. For most of you who know me, I've been an attorney for 20 years. And 16 years of those 20 years, I only did family law. Before I go any further, I do want to say that nothing I say in this video should be seen as legal advice. This is just my opinion. Please talk to or seek legal advice. This is not a channel where you come for legal advice. This is just my opinion. I'm just talking, a random person on YouTube, okay? So this is just my observation. Why is it that we're so quick to run into court? And for this video, I'm again mainly speaking about family court, but why is it that we find ourselves so quick to run into court? Why can't we settle our differences without having the intervention of the law? We were able to have a relationship with another individual. We were able to have kids with this individual. We probably married this individual, so we know this other individual. And why is it that we are so quick to rush into court to have someone else make decisions on our lives? Now, family law, family court encompasses divorce, child support, child custody, visitation, sometimes prenups. It covers a range of family issues, but from what I have seen, I do feel as though a lot of what goes to court does not necessarily have to be in court. I do believe that there are a lot of people that end up in court for whatever reason that could settle their matters. I've sat in the back of the courtroom listening to people talk about certain things. Nothing that I think that cannot be settled without the intervention of the law. So is family court the right place to have your matter heard or decided or settled? And before we go any further, I do want to say that I am not in any way discounting people that actually have to and need to be in family court. Situations where sexual abuse comes up, where physical abuse comes up, where abduction of a child comes up. These are by another parent. These are things that need to be in court. But some of the things that I see in court shocks me. Especially where people are paying money to lawyers. So again, I'm not trying to minimize situations where, let's say, a person needs a restraining order. I'm not talking about the restraining orders or the request for restraining orders where someone is just trying to get a leg up on a custody matter and they think that if they run into court and ask for a restraining order, that they're going to get more visitation or custody of the child. I'm not talking about these people. I am talking about people that go into court bickering about the smallest things, like I don't want the child to eat beef. I want the child to be a vegan, and they're in court arguing about things like this. Or I want to argue about 30 minutes extra visitation time or custody time. These are things that I don't see why they're in court, but it doesn't fail. Every time I'm there, it comes up. So these are pros and cons as to why or if a person should be taking their case to court or not. Again, this is not supposed to be seen as legal advice. This is just my opinion, but maybe this can give you an idea as to whether or not you can be mediating your matter rather than bringing it to court. So the first and only pro in my mind is that going to court, you will definitely get something in writing, in order, that hopefully can decide or determine when you're supposed to have the kid or the kids, and when the other party is supposed to have the kids. You are also, again, the definiteness of that document. Let's say you need a restraining order, you're getting something that says this person should stay away from you, how many feet they should stay away from you, for how long, the duration. It also makes it so that you have something definite where if you have a restraining order, the person actually you got the restraining order out against, is prevented from having, say, custody of kids for a certain amount of time, and they have to jump through certain hurdles to come back and try to get custody, such as maybe going to parenting classes, anger management classes, and things of that sort. I really and truly, in the time that I have done family law, I try to push for, or at least I try to talk my clients into settling their cases rather than going through with fighting in court. And these are the cons that I see that I think people don't take or pay much attention to until it's too late. So the first con, you are going to get a total stranger deciding what happens in your life. You are going to get a total stranger telling you what time you can see your kids. You are going to get a total stranger that's going to tell you how much you're going to pay for child support. I mean, child support is one of those things that I think that should be in court. But again, you have a total stranger in a black robe who does not know you, has never met your kids, and that person is going to tell you when you should see your kids, what kind of custody you have with your kids. And I think that these are things that people should think more about before they end up in court. You married this person, or you had kids with this person. You guys were at a place at one point where you were close enough to understand each other. If you cannot, for some reason, come up with a set schedule that both of you can share, you can at least maybe get a family member involved or try to find a mediator. But I do not, in my mind, do not think that all these cases that are in court, backing up the court for years on, where a total stranger is telling you what you should do with your children when you can see your kids. I don't think this is something that is in the best interest of the kids as far as I'm concerned. That's just my opinion, again, not legal advice. Another con that I see is that the court is almost like a revolving door. Once you get in the system, for some reason, you are always finding, or at least parties are always finding reasons to go to court. Once they start getting orders, I guess one party is trying to get a leg up on the other, or the parties are just fighting and think that, well, anytime I don't get my way, I can go to court and have this, again, total stranger tell my spouse or my ex what they are or not going to do. And after a while, this going to court back and forth is almost like a revolving door. The court is going to entertain, as long as you pay your filing fees. The court will entertain whatever it is you file in front of them. Once a party has entered the system, it seems as though they feel the need to keep going to court, trying to get that total stranger to kind of tell them what it is they're going to do with their children. I don't think that that is beneficial for the kids, but again, this is just my opinion. One way I have been able to get across to my clients, maybe court is not the best route, or even if you file paperwork, you want to try to mediate and resolve your matters, is by letting them know that when you walk out of court, the only people that are happy, and I'm saying this as an attorney, the only people that walk out happy are the lawyers. They're the ones that have been paid to do numerous paperworks, to file documents, to do depositions, and Lord knows what else. Sometimes maybe not even needed, but in your quest to prove your point or to get revenge against your ex. You have spent Lord knows how much money. And again, the only people that are walking out of that courtroom happy are the lawyers, because they've made their money. You are not happy because no matter what it is, it's been a compromise of some sort, and you probably feel as though there's some things that the other party should not have received when you went to court. The kids are probably not happy because you've been tugging them back and forth. Mommy's right, no, daddy's right, and you want to spend time with mommy, right? You want to spend time with daddy, right? And sometimes we put the kids in the middle of these things, and they're just kids. They don't know how to navigate this system, and when you put them in the middle of it, it's not in the best interest of the kids. The judge is just, again, that stranger in a black robe, and I don't want to say he could care less what happens to your kids, but he's now made a determination as to where the kids are going to be. He's now said, well, you shall have this much time with your kids. So nobody is leaving the court happy. The judge probably is in a situation where he did not want to be the one to say, Mom, you spend this amount of time. Dad, you spend this amount of time. But because you brought it to court and you could not resolve it before getting to your court date, you have now had this stranger make determinations on your life for at least 18 years, or the years of the kids till they adults. So you need to keep things like this in the back of your mind when we are fighting. It's my way or the highway. When people come into my office, I generally try to see how the matter can be mediated. If there's another attorney on the other end, I try to see if we can resolve as many issues, if not all the issues. I try to impress on my clients or people that I come across that, even if they're not my clients, I try to impress on people that this is a person, your spouse or ex is a person that you had a relationship with. There was a time when you guys had loving words to say to one another. There was a time when you guys could probably finish each other's sentences, and now you're at a place where you're fighting like this. There must be some way for your differences to be resolved other than going to court. I say this because I come across a lot of young people who are running to court for things that I think, in my opinion, could be resolved with just sitting at a table, and you put your problems down and the other side puts their problems down, and we try to see if there's any way that it can be mediated. And when I say I see a lot of young people coming to court, and the reason why I try really hard to push for mediation is because even though these people are young, they are here trying to spend a lot of money trying to get their point across, and it just does not make sense. This is money that could be used for the kids. If you have kids, these kids have to at some point go to college or higher education. Someone has to pay for it. And if you're sitting here bickering about little things like, you didn't bring the child's extra clothing, or the clothes that the child was wearing when I dropped her off, you didn't bring her back with the clothes. If you're bickering about these little things, think about how much money you are wasting and that is going towards this bickering than your kids' higher education. Because at some point, you're going to want to contribute something towards their education. I also come across times where people were just trying to prove a point. You go to court, you have wasted Lord knows how much in attorney fees, and you've proven your point because you have the custody orders that you wanted. Once you get the orders that you were fighting for, it goes back to you now. Let's say you get primary custody and the other side has visitation. I've seen where people have gone to court, gotten this kind of an order, and the person that has primary custody of the children is now given the other side, who they fought for or fought against, that they did not want them to have, say, more than, say, weekends in visitation. Now they're letting the kids go there and spend weeks at a time at that same party's house that they were in court recently fighting about. I don't want that person to have more than weekends. I've seen it more often than not. Once again, there has to be a better way for us to resolve our issues. I'm talking to the young parents out there that somehow end up in court. There has to be a better way. You do not want a stranger in a robe to tell you how or what kind of custodial time each party is going to have. You guys can resolve things like this. This is not something that should be in court. I understand if you need a restraining order because the other side is crazy, that needs to be in court. If there's sexual abuse, that needs to be in court. If there's physical abuse, that needs to be in court. But some of these things, like, there's just no need for some of these things to be in court. And I think that there are ways that they can be resolved. I am not affiliated with any mediation service whatsoever. Once again, this is Sadie. Thank you very much for tuning in to my channel. Again, this was just my opinion. None of what I said here should be deemed as legal advice. Thank you very much for tuning into my channel. I'm hoping that I've been able to give some information that has been beneficial. If you got any benefit out of this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe and share and turn on the notification bell. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one.